Well, hello. I'm back. Surprise, surprise. I'm not fully dressed. Got this nice big black bra on though. It's about a C cup 42. Anyway, that's not the point. This is another security video. And if you do what I show you in this one now, you want to be careful because you're not fully protected by the law. You just have to make sure that the other person is totally in the wrong. They messed with you and you can't get away. And you're either handicapped like I am or you're 69 years old and you're not moving like a 20-year-old anymore. You can't get away. So you have to defend yourself. So what you gonna do? Because the cops ain't coming for you. Not until something happens. Then they'll come to write the report. That's the way the cops work. So, I'm going to show you. You remember my knife? I've showed you this before, right? I'm going to show you where it goes and how to put it on. Okay, first of all, you take, and this is in case you get attacked. It's not for any other reason. It's not for you to run around and rob your local convenience store with. You don't do stuff like that. I don't know of any transgender people that do stuff like that anyway. Okay, you saw me put it through my arm. That secures it over here, so it ain't gonna go nowhere. All right, now I'm hiding it underneath my right, which I use my right hand mostly. So now it rides up under there, secure. That's not going anywhere. Now, if I need it, I have to get up under my blouse and come out with it like that. There it is. It's that easy, that quick. So now you've been shown how to do that. And you see how I carry it. Now, show you the other baby, my Farbrin Sykes, the British Commando dagger. So there's its sheath. It's got a very long leash to it. The blade on it, it's about 7.5 inches long. This is an original British World War II commando knife, like they used on the Germans. It's got the full hilt here. You can control this very easy. It was used to go in, not cutting throats, okay? You can do that, but that's not the way that this thing went down into your heart. From your neck, severed your arteries up here, and went down into your heart. With a 7-inch blade, it's long enough to reach your heart from just about any angle on the torso of the body. Now, another thing about it I'm going to show you with the knife here. You need to understand this. First of all, it's made to use either way. You can go like this with it, or you can go like this with it, depending on, and the British Commandos, they like to switch hands. But I don't do that. I don't switch hands because they're not going to see me anyway. I'm going to get them when they're not looking, which means I will come up behind them. And now you see how the blade's pretty well flat. It's a very narrow blade and it's flat. It's a dagger. It's made to go right in with. Or you grab them and drag them back into it. One or the other. If you're behind them, grab them by the collar and just push it right in. Now, you turn the blade this way so it will slide between the ribs. You don't want to hold the blade like that if you're going in their back or in their front. Because if you do, it's going to knock it, you're going to have trouble getting it between your ribs. All right. Now I'm going to show you how I carry this in order to, it is concealed. I don't leave it out. It's concealed at all times if I'm carrying it. Again, I can go around my arm to secure it over my neck, but it goes down my back. Now I'm going to show you something. Yes, I have on a skirt, so don't expect to see my panties. See where it comes to? Right there. Well, watch this. I'm not through. Well, that one's hanging. My tops are usually longer than this. I think that was dangling a little bit down below my top, the knife handle. The knife handle. A little bit down below. But that's okay. I'm just demonstrating here. I'm not. Well, I don't intend to go out. I might, but if I do, I'll change tops because this top is too short to hide the blade all the way. But that other knife demo that you saw me do was this particular knife I just put on last. And you saw how I pulled it out. I had on I had on a short dress when I showed it to you the last time. But the Farbin Sykes is a famous, very famous, and deadly knife. It was used by the master killers of World War II. Hitler was so afraid of them, he declared that any of them that were caught were to be interrogated and executed immediately. They were too dangerous to put in prisons. So, well, that just made them that much tougher. Because if you know you don't get to go to prison if you get caught, you're going to fight harder to not get caught. So, or wounded bad, so that your buddies have to leave you behind and to the German medics, because the medics have to do whatever their superiors tell them. If they say you can't live, then that's pretty bad. Excuse me. So anyway, if I'm going to show you another one. This is the one that the Navy SEALs like and the Green Berets like. But this is a commemorative version of it. I just took it out of its presentation case. In case you doubt that, here it is. There's the wooden case that I just took it out of. Fits right in there. This is the Gerber Mark I Commando knife. They're pretty rare nowadays. Gerber's not. This is just a limited edition version, and it's got an engraved blade and all this sort of stuff on it. This knife was copied from the knife I have on my back right now, the Farber Sykes British Commando dagger. It was copied from that. You can see the similarities, and the combat hilt here to keep your hand from going down the blade. And this one, the pommel on it. Now I haven't put the leash on it yet. You can see it's ready for one right here. But the pommel, make no mistake, the pommel is you can use it like a battering ram against somebody, especially on the temple. You hit them real hard on the temple, you're going to knock them out or kill them, one or the other. If you hit them hard right there on the temple. That's what that's made for. It's designed that way to use it. And this is cast metal. I'm not exactly sure what the metal is, but they painted it OD green. It's made by the Gerber Knife Company. There's their emblem up here. Gerber Knives made that. And this 7-inch blade. Now this blade is the point is tougher than the British Commando blade. British Commando blade made it too needle sharp for their own good. Some of them broke off. And sometimes the men would break them off on purpose and repoint them so they would be thicker at the tip, like this one is. That's pretty thick at the tip. Look at that in the light. Okay, so Gerber makes good knives. In Vietnam, the Navy SEALs loved this knife, and Green Berets, Army Rangers, most guys that were out in the field, if they could get one of these, they would like to have one. But yeah, Gerber just started making them in like 1967. And the Vietnam War was half over probably by then. So, I don't know. Everybody didn't get one of these. It wasn't issued. This is a personal weapon. The Special Forces is big about letting you carry your own personal special weapons that you want. They do that. They let you do that. So anyway, this is the Gerber Mark I. Now I've got the Gerber Mark II that has a serrated edge along both sides of the inside up in here. But I'll show it to you later. This is the commemorative edition. Goes in this wooden box over here. And anyway, knives are a big thing. Everybody wants to legislate against guns. Well, go ahead and do it. I mean, you're not going to hurt me. I could kill more people between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning than I possibly could on an open battlefield, even with an M16 or an M60 machine gun. Now I know how to shoot both, but the thing is, you're making an awful lot of noise. Everybody's going to figure out where you are with those weapons, and they're not dumb. They're going to come look for you and stop you. Eventually, you'll get stopped. But with a knife, and another weapon I was telling you about that I got interrupted on, I didn't finish telling you about it, is the bush axe. Oh, that is a horrible weapon to use on somebody. A bush axe? Are you kidding? Do you realize the damage that thing can do? It's the bush axe that's got the curved blade up at the top. These curved blade things, like the one I got around my neck here and in my bra, and a handheld one on the end of a stick, I mean, end of a handle. My God, them things, they're awesome. Because I'm talking about now, they're every side, okay? Every side of a bush axe is sharpened, razor sharp, every side of it. It don't matter how you move it. And the blade is about as wide as my hand here. That's a wide blade to put on the end of a stick. And all you got to do is move that thing around in front of somebody going at them, and you're going to hit them. It's not like a spear tip. This thing, I mean, it's sharp as a razor, and you're going to go at them like that. They're going to back up if they got any sense, or you're going to get them by surprise. And it's got that blade I'm telling you about, it's hooked around, so you can reach up and grab them around the throat and whack half their head off at one time with it. It's a mean thing. It's a mean tool. I'll call it a tool, because you can it's what road crews use to clear brush off the side of the road. You know, I think down in Alabama where they still have road crews. That's a mean weapon if you turn it into a weapon. Right now it's just a tool. But you put a leash on the end of that one too, on the very end of the handle back there, so it don't get away from you. You know, so many different. You could hit a rock, and the jolt of hitting a rock on the ground while you're trying to clear a brush, and that thing leap out of your hand. Any number of things can cause you to lose your grip on a weapon or a tool like that. Leashes are handy things to have on these tools. I mean, even on a hammer. Now, a carpenter may laugh at you for having a leash on your hammer, but let him laugh. You're not dropping yours on your foot. Now, what if you're up on a rooftop roofing and you got your roofing hammer with a leash through it? It's not, if you do drop it, it's going to dangle around your wrist down here till you get it back in your hand. It's not going to slide down the roof off the gutter and hit somebody that's down there working. That's not going to happen. People laugh at common sense things like that. That just don't, things that don't have to happen, but people let them happen because they're not thinking. So anyway, you need to know that there are different kind of knives for different purposes, but I ain't met a knife yet that didn't really need a leash. Put your knives on a leash, or they're just out of control tools if you don't. You're not in control of it if it ain't on a leash. If it's on a leash, you're not going to drop it because it's just right there on your wrist. Use your good common sense about these things. The Leatherman that will fold up. Forgot what they call those things. They're multi-tool, yeah. Well, they're good for little jobs, little things that you're going to run into from time to time that you don't know, well, that might work and that might not work. There may be something on that multi-tool that will do just what you need done. I've got 4 multi-tools. One has fork and spoon on it. The other's got pliers. needle nose pliers on another one, and just a bunch of handy little stuff. The Swiss Army knife type even has a toothpick on it. How sweet. Anyway, another thing you might want to consider carrying and learning, you've got to mess with it a while to get to know it and how to use it, and that is a set of lock picks. I've got a set and it fits right in my wallet. I mean, I don't have them loose in my pocketbook. They're inside my wallet. They're so tiny. But let me tell you something that they do in special forces. If you're being interviewed for it, like I was, now there's different ways that they interview you depending on where you're being interviewed. I was interviewed at an armory in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, because I was in U.S. Army Reserve, and they back then in the 80s and 90s they had, I mean, well, till 92. They stopped at 92, but until then they had Special Forces Reserves, and they will interview you, and they want to find out if you're the kind of thinker and person that they need. Now, they're not like the Marines. The Marines are what I call motivatedly target driven. The Marines are assigned a job to go do, and they go do it. Well, the Rangers do too, but the Rangers are heavy assault. That means everything they can drag with them that will fire and massive amounts of ammo, the Rangers are taking with them. They're the ones you need to call too if you want something just utterly captured or destroyed. Now, the Green Beret, they're imaginative thinkers. Most of us are. That's what keeps us alive behind enemy lines. You're behind enemy lines, you know that. You're not out here where you can run over to the post exchange and get you some beer or cigarettes. You can't do that. You're back there where Charlie lives. Charlie is the designated enemy. Well, you're back there where he lives, breathes, sleeps, and takes his crap. Well, you got to be able to think out of the box. I'll talk to you about this for a minute because it's important. If you don't think if you just think, well, you just do normal thinking, you don't sit around and think about things like I do. What would I do if this happened? What can I do? What do I know how to do? What am I trained at? All those kind of little questions you better be asking yourself right now, because Donald Trump, I'm not getting political on you here, but I'm telling you what the man's out to do. He's out to bring this country to a civil war so he can invoke martial law. That's what he wants. And I don't think he's going to stop until he gets it. Now, with that in mind, you better do an inventory of everything you know, think about, and have prepared for. And start thinking about things that could go possibly wrong in your neighborhood or in your city or in your state. Because, yeah, well, some of us live in the mountains, some of us live at the beach. It's different situations for different environments. All right, here's what part of the interview entailed. You walk into the room, there's one desk in there, and there's a man already sitting behind the desk. You walk up to the desk. He tells you to be seated. All right, you sit down. There's some papers in front of you. to go over and review with him. And he will ask you questions. And some of the questions are, tell me about yourself. What are your capabilities? What do you know how to do that nobody else in your neighborhood or in your family knows how to do? Can you pick locks? Can you drive a locomotive? That's an odd question, isn't it? Both those are. Are you a trained medic? Are you or have you ever been a law enforcement officer? What qualities and capabilities do you have that we need to know about that might benefit us? Oh, I didn't know they was going to ask me all this. You better think about it, because even though you're not volunteering to get in and they're not asking you, you still need to inventory yourself and figure out, well, just who and what am I? What am I capable of? Now, you're capable of a lot, but that don't mean you're trained and able right now. So you need to ferret these things out and kind of go through and find out what you need to brush up on or get exposed to or learn. Well, if you're going to learn languages, I recommend Spanish and Russian and German. Those are the three that I recommend you start learning because you're going to be dealing with those three groups a lot more and more in the future. I said the future, not right this minute. But if you want to know how to interact with people that may be in charge of your city, oh, really? Yes. Very easily could happen. Did you know that they don't want the Russian soldier to know English? They don't. They just don't want them to know it, because they don't want them sympathizing with you if they have to do what's called an overwatch over your city, and the Russians are guarding all the entrances to your city and stuff and all that. All right, they'll have of a group of Russians, they'll have a leader and an assistant leader. The leader knows English. The assistant leader, he might know English, but not likely. The leader gives the orders. The assistant leader makes sure that the infantry below them follow those orders. That's the way the Russian army is set up, or at least it used to be. I don't know if they've went to an NCO type structure yet. I haven't really studied that. But it used to be leader, assistant leader, and then everybody else is all on the same level. And they don't want everybody else knowing English. They don't. Because if you know English and this mother's begging, please don't take my baby and all that, and he gets to feel sorry for her. Well, he's not going to do his job the way they want him to do it. He might just let her keep her baby, or let's say they're taking up guns. Let's say there's this old 1856 pistol that your granddaddy gave you, and you're trying to explain to this Russian that found it in your dresser drawer that you don't know if it even works. It's just an antique, and it was left to you by your great granddaddy, and you'd like to keep that. Well, if you get sympathetic, if he gets sympathetic to you, he ain't gonna take it. He's probably just gonna leave it, let you keep it. But These guys don't get sympathetic because they don't know what the hell you're talking about. And that's the way the Russian government wants it. Anyway, okay. Oh, it just turned 30 minutes. So that means it's time to shut the video off. And I hope you learned, because that's why I'm here. Saving the country's politics is shot to shit. So I'm here to teach you what's next. And look at the seriousness on my face. I'm not joking. Bye-bye.